Welcome at a new Selection Talks. I'm really excited about this one because it's the first international one. We have Alisher here from Avery. Maybe let's introduce yourself first.
Thank you very much for having me. And I think it's a huge honor to be the first international guest here.
Yeah, great to go worldwide with this podcast now.
Definitely. And I'm a huge fan. But you can imagine, I need to translate all the time from Dutch to English to understand what exactly was happening.
Do you then understand something from the podcast, or how's your Dutch?
Yeah, and when I'm not that great, honestly, but when I'm putting it actually on the notebook LLM, I can understand a lot with a good translation.
Nice. And also the snippets you can see, right? We have the translation there.
Yeah, and I think you're having amazing guests. So huge honor to be here. Short introduction about myself, Alisher Jafarov, CEO and founder of Avery. I also go with the easy name as AJ, just initials.
It's easier to pronounce.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think I'm in the Netherlands for the last 4 years already. Been part of the corporates before Heineken, Carlsberg, Colgate for the last 15 years. 2 years ago, decided that I have enough energy to make something big. And that's how I started to build Avery.
Is it like this? Did it start with the energy, or did it start with the idea already?
Idea was always there, maybe, because I could see the patterns actually in the corporate world, how the companies are struggling to get to the great teams. I think interesting angle actually that I've never been a recruiter myself. But when you say that out loud, the people are like, okay, then what are you doing in this business? Like, you're building recruitment tech without having that experience. I think the angle usually they miss, or I actually don't say it out loud. I've been a hiring manager myself for almost 14 years out of these 15 years.
So you do have the experience from hiring people, but not being like a recruiter.
Exactly. Yeah. And I was not just hiring people, and I hired a lot of people, like almost 500. I tried to calculate on my memory.
Where did you do that then? Which company was it for? Or was it for over the different companies?
All these three companies, honestly, because my recent role actually in the corporate world was head of sales and trade marketing. So I had actually 200 people in my team, like direct, indirect.
That's quite a lot, yeah.
And even before that, teams were like the 50, 60, 70, 100. So you're always actually changing people who's efficient and not, especially in the commerce. It's actually, this is the way forward. But I guess what I learned that if you are as a hiring manager is just observing from the side, that that recruitment team will bring someone good, then it's never going to happen. Why? Because you need to be proactive enough to actually be involved. And my involvement was too proactive. To the way that I was changing the process of recruitment. I was talking to the vendors, asking them to build the modules for us and etc. So you can imagine it's not the traditional hiring manager, but pain in the ass for the recruitment team.
You were already kind of optimizing your recruitment back then.
Exactly.
What was like the biggest problem you saw or you're solving now with Avery?
I think the biggest problem even by then was actually that you don't know what's the right profile.
Yeah.
Which will succeed in the company. You have assumption that, we need a head of trade marketing.
Yeah.
And then you imagine the person should come from the background of trade marketing, should have A, B, C, and etc. But then when you're putting this to the process and then you're ending up with the people, and then you're like, okay, this is the best market can give me, I guess, right? And then you're just choosing someone. But at the same time, you're like, how fair and how transparent and how accurate I was actually in the beginning with all my requirements. So there was one issue. But another issue is actually when you're evaluating, how to evaluate the people in a way that, or assess the people. And I think this is where you guys are doing a great job. Yeah. How to assess the people to really understand that, they are objectively the best ones. So I have to actually choose one of them, So there was always the question. And I think at some point that question also get to the angle of the candidates as well, because I was keep seeing from my network that the great people cannot find a really good job.
Yeah,
even
so
though
it's the other way around from more like the recruiting perspective.
Exactly, and I see the corporate world cannot find talents so easily. The candidates, really great candidates, cannot match with a great company with a great role immediately. So I said, there should be some kind of a bridge there, which can help. And I think the other angle, which I think what was also interesting, because the Avery is my second company. So the first company was Corporate Hub. Think of it like a BCG or Bain, but in a smaller scale.
Yeah.
And we were doing a hands-on strategic consulting, but then strategic went to the operational level as well, that we were getting all the people ourselves, building the processes and etc. And when we started to really hire lots of people for the different businesses, I actually figured out that, okay, this is the problem. If you have the right person, then the business can grow right now. So they're doing, let's say, 50 mil revenue. They can do 100 mil revenue already next year if they have the right people on board.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. They cannot get the right people. Why? Because technology doesn't allow, and then it's almost a guessing game, yeah? So for me, it was like, okay, somebody should crack that. LinkedIn is not cracking it. Solutions out there, they are solving, but they're only solving the angle. But somebody should actually bring this intelligence to place to really solve this problem, yeah? So everybody have this chance to become successful, like almost any company. Very long answer, by the way.
Yeah, but that is like what the solution is for Avery. So more like the connecting piece between the two.
Exactly. So we call it hiring intelligence, and it's basically the layer on top of your technology. And it doesn't, I mean, we are not actually aiming to replace any of the technology you have. So you still can use whatever you want. Yeah. But it actually connects the dots. It understands you better and better, your company and the patrons. Yeah. So first, it's going to help you to create the right profile. Second, it's going to help you to automate all the admin, including the sourcing, matching part from your ATS, etc. Yeah. But with a very high precision, because right now we know what to search for. Yeah. And third of all, and I think this is the angle which a lot of people are underestimating, it's a learning pattern. Because the LinkedIn cannot learn your company 24/7. So you're always starting from the scratch. Yeah. And any sourcing tool, almost they do the same. So what we do, we connect with the technology you have already, the ATS, HRIS, and then we learn from all the patrons how...
Which you already you bring the data together in the overall layer of the current ecosystem of tech tools.
Yeah, so basically your next hire is going to become more faster, smarter, and more accurate.
And you also said in the beginning, like the problem is also that the candidates, the good candidates, don't find the right jobs. Do you have the solution for that as well? Is that included in Avery, or is that still too broad to tackle in one company?
It's possible. I think two ways. So when I started this, I also actually thought about the candidate perspective a lot. But what stopped me at that time, because if you are tackling the candidate perspective right now, and you're not solving the problem from the company perspective, no matter how good they are, they won't be seen. They won't be objectively assessed.
It's like you have to first solve this issue.
Exactly.
Because before you can move to the other side.
Yeah, and while we are solving the first issue, we already see how the candidates are not being represented properly. And we're already thinking about the next step.
So you have to search for your talent in a different way or in a different place.
Different way, but also help them. So I think we all think about the platforms which can mediate the conversation between the candidate and the company, such as LinkedIn or any other job boards, and etc. Yeah. But I think what is super interesting angle for me, we're all big fans of soccer, right? The football. Yeah. And we all know that like Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi, they all have like really good agents, which does like almost all the job for them, when it comes to the business.
They focus on the football playing because they're good at it, and they have a team around it to be able to coach them towards it.
Exactly, Stefan. And this is exactly the angle. So imagine that you can just focus on your job. And never think about job searching, never think about like who should be like become your next employer, and etc., and how you can unlock your true talent. That you can have that agent free of charge, and that agent will actually keep talking to you, keep understanding you better, keep understanding your patterns, but also your desire to work for a specific company and manage all the expectations and talk to the companies at least the first couple of steps. And if all good, then you can go to the interview already. But then you're not wasting the time just going to the LinkedIn searching. So that I think would be interesting.
I think we kind of see the AI is going to change a lot in the recruitment world. But then we've experienced things with also pushing our solution towards the candidate side to better understand kind of, for example, for a candidate, what are their traits or what are they good at with using assessments there. But it's always difficult to kind of the paying model for it. How do you look at it? Are they going to pay for this, or is it going to be so cheap that they don't need to pay too much for it?
I think it's almost like a drug, So first you need to try, and then you need to actually be convinced. And I guess this is the interesting angle. So if you are giving something really good that they can try, they can actually see the effect already. And they say like, okay, I don't mind actually paying because this is so good. It can actually help me. And I think this is the angle where you can also incorporate the solution you have, guys, that it can also assess them all the time during the year without getting the job, but they are prepped already. And the moment the good opportunity is there, it's already there. Like the accuracy is almost 100%, matching with the specific assignment somewhere there. And if that's the case, for sure, if you're going to tell me like, okay, I have to pay 50 euro, I'm paying for Spotify almost 18 euro, I'm paying for Netflix almost 25.
Yeah, you don't even notice that you're paying.
Exactly. I don't mind to pay 50 or 100.
Recently, I was like looking at all the subscriptions I have. I was like, oh, I have quite many.
Right.
And also with the company, we're always looking at new tools to be able to improve with AI and everything we can do in terms of efficiency. We'll always look for a better way. Do you use it, a lot of tools yourself as well?
Yeah. And now you're actually giving me the idea that somebody should crack that and should come up with the AI which can actually analyze what are you paying for and cut that cost for you.
It's like always the entrepreneurial route. I like seeing opportunities everywhere, right?
That's it. No, I think we are doing it every month. Honestly, we have a session for that 45-minute session when we're optimizing all the cost. Again, we are a bit in the early stage, but still we have this appetite, like, oh, you should try this, you should try that, and then you forget that you're already paying like a 250 for nothing. You're not using it anymore, so you have to actually go back and check it.
Yeah, so sometimes you have to check the list for all the subscriptions you have to also cancel some things which you're not using anymore.
Yeah. But do you agree that actually that can be interesting thing for the people out there? So to pay for something which can...
Definitely. I think like with AI improving a lot for the candidate as well, we see tools already in the market where you have mass applies for applicants where you can apply for 100 functions at once. And of course, we're on the other side for that, for companies to use AI as well as soon as possible, because you want to make sense if an applicant is really an applicant. And to
this is the tricky part, right?
Yeah, because as a recruiter, you get a lot of applicants then, and then you want to make sure that the person really fits for the job as well. So these two worlds should connect with each other, and it's gonna happen one way or the other.
Definitely.
So I see that. Going that way, and then having some intelligence on top of it to be able to see what is really the profile you're looking for is really a good one to have there as well.
No, definitely. And I think this is also how we met, right, with you. So we started with the partnership of recruitment leaders breakfast. So and I think from that moment onwards, I actually started and still believing big time that it's all about the collaboration. So you cannot solve all the problem yourself, but if you can find the right partners, and it can be not maybe 2, 3, but it can be even 10, 15, to really solve together in a very smooth way, with a very tight integration. With a very tight integration. I think then everybody will win, like the companies, the candidates.
And talking about partnerships, you also started the company with another company, Builders, right? What was your decision to do that? Because they're kind of helping you with building the tech, right?
Definitely. Builders is actually the startup studio based in Rotterdam. They are very hands-on. It's almost like a boutique startup studio who is giving like a lot of efforts to a specific number of people. So usually it's 4 to 8 people per year. So you have actually enough attention from their side. So my story with Builders is very simple. So 2 years ago, when I was about to start this journey, I was thinking like, okay, I know the corporate world, I know how to tackle all of the things, but honestly, I never built a software company myself. Like I was part of it, I was improving somehow because they were my clients.
So you didn't have the experience to really build the tech around it.
Exactly. And I thought like, okay, I can do that, but at the same time, most likely I will making like hundreds of mistakes. What if I can actually find someone who can help me out with that part of the world? So then I was searching for different companies out there who can actually help me out. And eventually I landed on the Builders, and somehow it clicked with me, the mission, the vision, and the way they actually support. So I had my conversation with the founders of Builders, Mike and Sharon, and eventually we just felt like, okay, it can be something cool
really
to do together.
It's also like, that's also what you see with partnership, right? There needs to be a good fit, and you need to have a certain thing which the other person doesn't have. So that was the good combination which you found in Builders.
Definitely. So they are supporting me even now, and the whole purpose is actually to support me until the seed round, like the bigger one. So They know like, okay, you can be completely independent yourself. But I think one thing is very important from the beginning. It's the founder-led business. So basically, you are responsible for everything, and you have to actually be on the driving seat all the time. So you cannot expect that the support will be happening out of nowhere. So you have to really like make sure that everybody knows what exactly you want.
Still building your own company, but you have support on how you build the tech around it, and you get the experience also from the other founders in their portfolio, or how does that work?
Yeah, and I think this is one of the cool thing as well. You have, for time being, we have like these 4 companies in a different stage, but we all support each other. So we all actually share with each other like what works, what doesn't, be it GTM, be it the product, and etc. And sometimes even without discussing the business, but just looking to each other and saying like, okay, that was a hard day, but still good day.
We still need to keep building. We survived, so we can go on to the next level.
It helps, honestly, it helps.
Yeah. So be able to also relativate the discussions on how it's going as well. Yeah.
I think the whole setup is quite interesting actually, and it's working.
Yeah, so you would recommend it to other founders as well, to if you don't have the experience on the tech side, get somebody in, like builders or somebody else.
If you can actually, again, if you don't have experience, if you don't think that you can actually do it yourself, which is the case for a lot of people out there, definitely go with it. And if you will have a chance actually to meet these guys and work with them, I think it's only win-win. But if you already have experience and you're doing this yourself, I think, you would prefer to do it yourself.
Yeah. Okay, I want to move to something personal because you last week you became dad of the second one, right?
Yes.
So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And how do you feel that is to being a daddy and an entrepreneur? How do you combine that?
Yeah, it's quite interesting question, honestly, because usually you say like, it's becoming too much, because then you also want to like play the role of the father, because for sure you can actually accept it as another task in your calendar, like, okay, I have to play with my son, I have to play with my daughter a bit, like because this is the founder mindset. You're just putting in your calendar and you're making things happen. But at the same time, for me, the first week at least was actually, even though that happened actually during the weekend, on Monday I was already having 4 or 5 calls of Avery. But the point was actually to be involved, which I did, and I think that was super important and beautiful process. But the first week I really wanted to forget about everything in the world and just be with my daughter, just like do whatever I can and try to really digest like the moment, okay, you are the father now of the second kid, you need to enjoy a bit, and this is the moment which just happening one time per life. You're not going to see it anymore. So I think I managed it quite well, not as a task in my calendar.
So more like enjoying the moment, which is really there.
And honestly, just before that as well, I had actually the chance of 30 minutes. So I was just like holding my baby, just looking at her, and her eyes were like, okay, what is happening in this world? And I was just like, okay, we're going to do a great stuff together with you. So it's not even about being...
Sometimes say like your company is your baby as well, right?
Exactly.
But this is a different thing.
Exactly. And I think for me, like, I'm not that person who's gonna like keep thinking about his daughter or the boy like during the day, not because I'm a bad father, most probably because I'm a very focused person. If my focus right now starting with Avery and it should end with Avery, let's say 7 p.m., that would be my focus. I'm not actually picking up the phone, I'm not messaging or something. So for me, like, this moment, I have to be there. I have to be with her. I should not think about anything else. And I'm learning it, honestly. It's not like I'm a professional in this.
Of course, it's always keep improving. Exactly. Like the entrepreneurial life as well, right?
And I think it helps when you're having like, okay, this is the moment, so I have to focus. So for example, right now I'm with you. I don't think about anything else. No. I'm just enjoying this conversation.
This is the moment. This is what we're talking about. Yeah,
that's it.
Nice. I want to go back a little bit earlier to your career. You came earlier to the Netherlands, right? It was like you just said like 4 years ago I came to the Netherlands, but you did your studies here in the Netherlands as well, right?
Yes, I did the MBA in a beautiful city of Maastricht.
I'm actually going to Maastricht this weekend, really? So if you have some tips I have to watch, I would like to know.
I will share with you. Amazing city, you're gonna love it. I was there almost for 1 year. The reason for that was actually, I said like, okay, I want to research the market, but at the same time, I want to actually, put on hold whatever I had and try to structure with the new knowledge. So basically, because before that I was in the corporate world, and usually when you ask people and they're like, yeah, don't do the MBA. Why? Because you already had your MBA within the corporate world, and you're already part of
the practice already within companies. Yeah.
Exactly. You're part of the leadership team. You're part of the management team. Like, what else you can get if it's not like specifically tailored for you, like from the Harvard Business School? Then it doesn't make any sense. But for me, that's not the angle. The angle was, okay, 1 year full focus, because I was like working super hard before that, non-stop 15 years. I said, okay, I want to really like take a pause and try to really embrace new knowledge and see like, okay, what is missing,
also
how I
like
can structure
to see
everything.
What you're going to do the rest of your life, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that helped me a lot, honestly, because met amazing people, amazing professors from different part of the Europe as well, because they were like coming as a guest lecturer and everything. And eventually I really put everything together and said like, okay, I know now I want to build something super cool, not only for Europe, but only also like as a next step, global solution. Yeah. So that helped me to put everything together.
Was it like the MBA which helped you, or was it more like the time you had to be able to experience?
Honestly, the combination of everything. So I cannot actually say that it's MBA or not MBA, but MBA did that its part as well. Like, I would recommend to use everything together. But honestly, I was actually I was not good in my initial promise, because I promised myself that I'm not going to do any work. I will just do the MBA, but I was doing the two jobs at the same time. So I was the chief strategy officer for one B2B SaaS company in the morning, and in the evening I was doing for another company. So I couldn't, because I could only do it for 3 months, but after that I got bored. I said like I need to do something.
Some more to be able to fuel myself.
No, but that was amazing experience. I think that's how I came to the Netherlands, honestly.
Okay, and how is it to be kind of an international entrepreneur in the Netherlands?
Amazing. I think you guys are doing an amazing job to spoil everyone here. You don't have to speak Dutch. You can do everything in English. All the opportunities there. If you are building something really cool, then the people are starting to open themselves to you.
Yeah.
Even now, for example, you are doing it usually in Dutch language, but I'm your first international. Super big honor and privilege, but I think this is how it works. Like, the people want to help you, the people want to support you once you are doing something really good for the country, for the continent. So this is what I'm keep feeling. This is what I'm keep seeing.
Did you explore other countries
I did
as well? And why did you come to the Netherlands? What was the reason? Because there's also big debates now in the Netherlands, of course, about regulation and those kind of things for startups, which sometimes makes it a little bit more difficult. Do you experience that as well, or?
I think 3 points. So first of all, within the Heineken, I already work as part of management team. Most of my colleagues were actually Dutch people, so they were Dutch peers. And the way the Dutch people communicate and etc. So I found it very efficient, straight to the point, no water.
No nonsense.
Exactly. And I started to feel like, okay, this is the culture I can actually pretty much like, and I want to actually experience even more. And after that, I was like, keep coming to the Netherlands for a couple of weeks during the year, just to see like, is this the place? Because I was considering Vancouver in Canada, and I was considering Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And eventually, there was another reason. My brother, who was already living here for 5 years, he said like, come on, Vancouver, just come to the Amsterdam. You're going to love the city. You're going to love the country.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he is he is my coach. He's my mentor. He's a huge inspiration for me in my life. So he said like, because at some point we need to make something cool together. So I think we still have that idea that at some point we're going to like merge our...
Does he have a startup as well, or is it more a different kind of route?
He's managing director of Heineken Serbia, so he's more in the corporate world. He's quite.
So is he gonna embrace your solution as well within Heineken?
Hopefully, someday. No, I think that was actually the reason. But going back to your original question, you said, "Is it easy?" I cannot say that it was easy to start, but if you have the right partners, and in my case, I had actually the builders, they actually navigated everything from their side super easy, super nice, that we almost found all the solutions in a very short time. And I think now with the new changes and initiatives, I think that's going to be even easier, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to do lots of job. You can actually launch the company within the 48 hours.
I think I worked before at an investor as well, so at a VC fund. And I think what we looked at in the analysis there is that a lot of people who move to another country to start a company, did quite well because they had to adjust all the time towards the new circumstances.
Yeah.
And you, as an entrepreneur, you have to adjust to new circumstances all the time as well.
Yeah.
So you're kind of used to it. So it also works better when you found a company. So
Yeah.
that's
That
something.
helps.
Yeah, that helps, right? So you're used to that already.
Yeah.
That's what we saw a lot. Do you experience that as well, or did you ever stand still to that fact as well?
Honestly, you have a big point there, honestly, because why I'm coming from the emerging country myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm originally coming from Uzbekistan. Even though I was part of the corporate world, like with all the corporate rules and the way of working, so that's not something new for me. But I was part of this emerging economy.
Yeah.
And I think when you're growing up in those type of culture, the country, the challenges are coming like 25 times per day, and you're just like dealing with it. And at some point, you just stop being surprised for these things.
It's coming. You know,
Things
it's
are
coming.
coming, and you just need to handle it. That's it. Like, and when you're coming here, like, okay, you're gonna have another 1,556 challenges. Yeah, okay, cool. Let's start with the first one.
Yeah. And let's go on, because it's keep
Exactly.
on coming. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you can for sure you can stop and think about it too much, but then you're gonna just waste the time, because it is what it is. You have to actually deal with it, and hopefully you will be in the position at some point to change these things and make it easier for the next generation.
Yeah.
But for time being, this is the situation. Deal with it and make things happen.
Yeah. So you're not even thinking about it too much, but more about like one step for the other and just going on.
You can do self-reflection during the weekend when you have the time, not during the weekdays.
Just not enough time for it. Just go on. Yeah.
You know it better than myself. Come on.
No, yeah, it's part of the journey, right? It's like challenges are coming all the time, but that's what we saw from the data back then. Is like people who move to another country are kind of used to it already, so better at it or used to it to do it. So that's what we saw in the data. So that was a big difference. Yeah.
And I think everyone who is in the startup, including you guys, you also see that like you don't have to actually have this experience of some kind of like immigrant or the emerging country. Why? Because you already know the whole energy, passion, how quickly you need to move.
You get to know it all the time because you have to deal with all these circumstances.
So I think once you're in the startup, you are in this family and you know everything how to work.
Yeah, you know how it goes. One more topic to go to the end already. You already mentioned we did an event together. I see you coming by with the TA walks a lot as well in your marketing outings. How's that going? How did that idea grow?
Oh, that's a good one. Two purposes out of it, yeah? So the first one was always we were thinking, and honestly, we were sitting with Sharon from the Builders, and we were thinking like, okay, how to actually bring more value to the community. Because first of all, the world changed already, yeah? So we cannot just like go and say like, I have a solution, you need to try it out, and etc. And secondly, you cannot just keep saying that you're a founder of some kind of a business without showing the value to the world, because then they don't know you. And I think then we landed, okay, we need to actually start unlocking the stories. And then I had that idea, okay, why don't we actually talk to the people and actually ask those questions from them so they can teach everyone out there, so they can share a piece of their story, a piece of their challenges, and the TA world, the recruitment world.
Out how it's really in the industry as well.
Yeah, and everybody can watch it, and somebody can for sure like it, comment it, something else. But at the same time, they're getting something and saying, okay, I can change something already in my company tomorrow. And for me, it was like all about, okay, starting to get the first people to the conversation, starting to really unlock them. To make
is that still a challenge to get the people to the conversation, or not
anymore?
Really? No.
But it used to be a very big challenge, and honestly, huge kudos and shout out to Christiana, who said first yes.
Christiana is from
Feedback Fruit. She is the talent acquisition there. She's leading the talent acquisition, and she is a great friend of ours. And when she see that, okay, I think that can be a cool thing. Like I want to be part of it. And after that, the next. People actually from my network, including the Joey as well, they come and say like, okay, let's start making things happen together.
It's always easier to start with your own network, right?
Exactly.
To have the first people coming in.
And after that, I think in the beginning it was like a walking talk, trying to really make them as vulnerable as it can be, but really share like a honest story rather than like a political correct answers, let's say.
And sometimes when we do the podcast, and it's like when the podcast stops, like, oh, I actually wanted to say this, but it's difficult to have it in the podcast. But
exactly.
That's
and
you want to get that in the podcast as well, right? Because you want to have the real conversations.
Yeah. And I think this is actually this is the main thing. And by the way, you're doing really good. I love it. Well done on that. So going back to the point, yeah. So I think one was really unlocking the stories, and after that, when the people actually started to see like, okay, this is the outcome. By the way, big shout out to Bogdan as well, the guy who's actually behind the camera and makes things happen. Amazing guy. Yeah. I think I'm super lucky with him. So what we did, we started to really show the real stories, and people love it. And then after that, when I'm just saying like, hey, do you know the vlog? And they're like, yeah, for sure. Like, I'm watching it all the time. Yeah. Can I be part of it?
Exposure as well, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And can I be part of it? For sure. This is exactly the point. And can I also show my office? Can I also show my team? Yeah, for sure. Like, I think now it's way easier because now we are like, can go almost to any big company and show their talent acquisition team, unlock the stories.
And what's the company you still want to have in your talk?
Ooh. That's a good question.
Or the person?
A couple of them. So first of all, we all know this huge company, ASML.
Yeah.
I really want to make it happen with ASML just to showcase like, okay, what exactly these guys are doing.
And you want to have the kind of the TA leader there.
Exactly. The ideally head of TA ASML. That would be great. And I think the second one is Mistral AI. I think these guys are like starting to be very interesting, especially given the fact that the Europe should become more independent in the AI thingy.
Definitely.
So I think, and they're hiring lots of people. So I think I would love to actually capture their stories as well, like the way they do that and how they are actually doing it under the pressure. So those are the two things like.
Maybe elaborate a little bit on the company, because maybe not everybody knows what this company does.
Mistral AI.
Yeah.
So I think they can become the new Claude or ChatGPT, let's say OpenAI for the European continent, but it's going to take
the regulations within Europe as well. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, because right now we keep saying that a lot of like AI thingy, it's US dominant, which is true. Yeah. And also being learned also in the US and on the US context. So it's not necessarily great for the Europe, but it's not like we have a lot of choice. Right. But I guess, if we can have something on our own, that can be quite interesting as well.
Yeah, and they're growing really, really fast as well. So definitely interested to get that story out. So let me know when you get them, and maybe this podcast will help in that respect as well.
Let's see.
And then kind of the final question for me is always, who should I have next in this chair as well?
Ooh, that's a good one. But are you also open for the internationals now?
Yeah, so that's opening a big market for you as well to pick somebody.
No, definitely. And are you also open to people outside HR tech?
So mostly I do it with recruitment entrepreneurs, and Lotte does it with TA leaders as well. So somebody in that range.
Okay, I have a couple of names.
Show me.
I think there is one very interesting person in Berlin who is also building, but he's pretty much focused on the beginning of the journey, like really this intake. His name is Konstantin. So if I might actually remember correctly, but I will share his contact details and everything with you. So quite interesting person, super knowledgeable, super educated, and super passionate about the whole recruitment and HR tech. Yeah,
so a lot of experience in the industry as well.
Yes, definitely. And another person, I'm not sure if you already talked with Dawe.
Yeah.
You did?
No, I didn't talk to him yet.
Ooh, you have to.
Dawe is from which company?
Dawe is, I think, one of the most interesting head of TAs for the last 20 years in the Dutch market. So he built like dozens of companies, executive teams, the leadership teams for them. And I think you're going to enjoy. I will also share his contact details, but he's super knowledgeable and he can share lots of great insights for the audience. And he's Dutch, so you can also keep it in Dutch.
Keep it in Dutch. Maybe I want to do some more international ones. I like this one very much. And it's already the end of the podcast. Alisher, really thanks a lot for this first international selection talks. We're definitely going to do more. If you like it, if you know somebody who's an international recruitment entrepreneur and you want to see it on the podcast, let me know as well.